Hi, my name is Renata. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is dedicated to intercultural communication and expat life, job search across cultures, and foreign language learning. In this episode, I want to talk about simple words in English that we all know, or at least we think we know what they mean, but they can still lead to a lot of misunderstanding. So I'm going to share some slides with you, give you some ideas, and would like to hear from you if you have any other words that have led to misunderstandings across cultures that you use in daily life when you use English as a lingua franca. So these are simple words, nothing complicated. If we use English to communicate in business or for daily life, then we expect people to kind of know these words. Um, I'll have some food items for you, just two examples each, two words out of daily life, some business related words, and two yes no stories. And then I'd like to invite you to think about other words that might lead to similar misunderstandings. For example, if I say pudding, you think, well, do you have a picture on your mind? What does a pudding look like to you? Does it look like this? Or maybe not quite. Maybe you're more the vanilla type. But maybe some of you had this on their mind. It's called black pudding. It's sausage and it's eaten for breakfast in certain parts of the world. So by saying pudding, all black pudding, it's not necessarily chocolate pudding. We have the same word in our vocabulary, but we had a very different idea on what it is. This can also happen with the word entree. If you happen to speak French, entree is at the beginning when you enter or when you enter the courses, the kind of first course or an appetizer. So it could be this, little snacks, tapas. But if you are in the US and you look at the menu, the entree is the main course. So we think we know the same word, but we have a very different understanding. Let's move away from the food items to daily life words, such as friend. I work with a lot of expats moving to the US, and they always tell me they don't really understand how you can call somebody a friend so quickly. So, how long do I have to know someone to be called a friend? There's a whole range that can lead to cultural misunderstanding. Is a friend a BFF, which is a best friend forever, since childhood or maybe university? Or is it someone I met last week? Can I call someone I met last week my friend? That's the big question. And that's what can lead to misunderstandings. Also, the word late can be misinterpreted. Let's say it's 9 o'clock. We said we would meet at 9. And at what time exactly would you say I am late? Am I already late at 9? Because when we meet at 9, I should have arrived before 9. Or are 5 minutes okay? But if I'm later than 5 past 9, then I'm late. Or would you give me 10 minutes or half an hour or possibly an hour? When do you think I'm late? And of course, it depends on the situation. What am I late for? But our idea of the word late may vary considerably across cultures. Also, the word deadline. So let's look at some business related words. The word deadline. A lot of people who communicate internationally know the word deadline in English. We all seem to speak the same language and understand what a deadline is. But when I say the deadline is Friday, when do you think it needs to be ready? Does it need to be ready by Thursday? Because that's the expectation when I say Friday. So by Thursday evening or at some point on Thursday it's ready because then it will be there ready on Friday, whenever on Friday. Or is it Friday morning, whenever that is? If you work across different time zones and continents, what is Friday morning? But wherever you are, Friday morning, or is it Friday 5 p.m., which we sometimes call end of day or end of business day? But when is the end of business day, or when is the end of my shift or normal work day? What is the end of Friday? What exact time? Or is it maybe Monday morning? Because if it needs to be ready by Friday, well, then nobody's going to look at it on Friday. Nobody's going to look at it Saturday, Sunday. So if I hand it in Monday morning, that should be fine. That should meet the deadline Friday. Or is it any other day that you would have it ready if I say the deadline is Friday? And what would you do if you can't have it ready by Friday or by whenever date you think it is? Well, that's a complicated question, such as the word meeting. We all seem to know what a meeting is. But when we go to a meeting, we have very different expectations as to what happens at a meeting. For some person, a meeting may mean that I listen, the boss talks, decisions are announced. That's what a meeting is like. To another person, it may mean I participate proactively, we discuss and we vote. Yet another person might think, oh, meeting, that's when senior leaders talk and I only talk when being called on. Otherwise, I don't say a word. Whereas other people might think, oh, meeting, that's where I can highlight my achievements, I can voice my opinion, and I can participate in decision making. Clearly, very different expectations as to what a meeting is and what you can do at a meeting. So if you say, let's go to the meeting and do what we usually do at a meeting, well, we might have very different understanding of what that is. Anyway, I also have two yes/no stories for you. Whenever we say yes, it doesn't necessarily mean yes or what the other person thinks, or I might say yes, you understand, no. So in this situation, if the person on the left says, looks like there have been several issues that could delay delivery. You know the deadline is on the 15th, right? Anything I need to know? And the person on the right thinks, well, you have not done anything to help us speed up the process. You must know that there's no way we can deliver on the 15th. Probably also thinking, what am I supposed to say? Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I'll say, yes, the deadline is on the 15th. And yes, there have been several issues indeed, and nothing else. Is that dishonest? Or is it respectful to the boss, not to say the things the person thought in his mind? Or what else is it? What's what you make of the story? What's the end of the story? Think about this. And maybe you have situations in your life where exactly this type of thing has happened to you. And another yes/no story. Here's our team. The boss is in the middle. She's ticking the box for urgent. Project A is urgent. And she says, Project A is an urgent priority. We need to come in on Saturday and work extra hours so that we can ship the first consignment on Monday. This is very important. Can I count on you to come in on Saturday? A says, yes, absolutely. This is super important. I'll be there. B says, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I'll be out of town all weekend. C says, yes, I would love to help. Project A is an urgent priority. This Saturday is my son's birthday, and many family members are flying in from out of town for his birthday party in the afternoon. D says, yes, I understand how important it is. I would totally come if I could. I have an important procedure in the hospital. Thanks for understanding. Now our boss has heard all four replies, and she says, all right, everyone, thank you for your support. So B and D, I understand. A, thanks for coming all day. And C, thanks for coming in the morning. I appreciate it. Do you see a possible misunderstanding here? She says, B and D, I understand, meaning she understands that B and D are not coming. Okay, maybe that's also what you thought. B and D are not coming. So far, so good. And then Thank you, A, for coming all day. I think that's very clear. A said, yes, absolutely. This is super important. I'll be there. So A will be there all day long. What about C? She says, C, thanks for coming in the morning. I appreciate it. Do you think that's what C meant? Did C mean that he can come in the morning? Because his son's birthday party is in the afternoon. Or is this C's way of saying no? No, I can't come that day. Well, that's one of those yes-no stories where C might have most likely meant I'm not coming in at all, but the boss understood I'm coming in the morning. So there could be a big surprise Saturday morning when only A shows up and nobody else. All right, think about other words. Here are some suggestions of words that are often misunderstood. ASAP, meaning as soon as possible, but when exactly is that? Or by the end of day, but what is the end of day? I have a quick question. So what does a quick question mean? How long does it take? Or a good manager? What is a good manager to you? This is something I often use in my intercultural training, asking people, can you write down a few things that to you a good manager does, or what a good manager is like? And you'll be surprised how different people think about what a good manager is and how opposite the things are they actually write down. For example, how clear the directions are that a manager gives versus the freedom the manager gives to have ownership over your own work versus the ownership lies with the manager and the manager only gives directions and no proactive initiative is expected. So, what is a good manager exactly? That's very important to think about and how many different cultural perspectives we have on that. Also, what does the word professional mean? Somebody says, well, just go there and be professional. What exactly does that mean? We have very different ideas about that across cultures. Also, friendly. People say just be friendly and polite. Oh, I love when they say that because being friendly and polite can mean so many different things across cultures. And we really need to know what the cultural standard is, where we're going, and the people we're communicating with. Also, what means accountability? What am I accountable for and for how much? Do I have to know? Or my proactive initiative, like I mentioned with a good manager before, is that something that how much should I do? What is expected of me as an employee, for example? How much accountability and proactive initiative do I need to have to be professional? These words are often misunderstood in business. And a word like flexible, like we need to be flexible on this project. Well, that doesn't really tell me exactly what we're supposed to do. I hope this helps you think about words that you use without thinking about them because you think it's clear to everyone. So these are just a couple of examples of words we actually need to explain in a very detailed way, in a very explicit way, in order to avoid misunderstandings when communicating across cultures. If that's a topic that interests you, if you're looking for an intercultural language teacher, feel free to reach out to me. You can visit my website or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Or if you like this channel and the videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel and come back for a new video every 2 weeks. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.